Welcome to the Fowl Front podcast.
Welcome to the Fowl Front Weekly After Action Review.
Whoa! Welcome to the Fowl Front AAR. I hope you all had just as good of a 4th of July as I did. I won't lie, this is probably as close as you get to a live broadcast as any of you are probably going to get as far as podcasting goes, because it's still the 4th of July for me right now. It's almost midnight. I had some fun on the 4th, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. And we went to Wamego, Kansas. Got the best fireworks in the state of Kansas. Anyways, so if you hear some popping in the background, that's my neighbors still getting after it. Anyways, I hope you're feeling better than I am after today, and we're going to have a good one. Now, remember, this is a weekly review of the outdoor content that I digested this week, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you so that you can sift through the best content in the outdoors world, which I guess is just you taking me for my word on it. Okay, so as many of you know, I've been cheating you out of a section that I promised you that I was going to do. I said I was going to do the one up and one down segment where I go over the best and the worst comments about the Fowl Front from the week and let you know how I feel about them. So I suppose I'll want to end it on a positive note. And so I'm going to start with the down, titled Second Chance, Still Not Good. 2 stars. So they can't be that bad since they didn't give me a 1 star. So I'll give them credit for that. So it goes something like this. I listened to the first few episodes and had to stop as the organization and the quality was not good. Recently decided to check out again, and unfortunately it isn't great still, which is kind of a weird way to construct a sentence. Anyways, they go on to say, the format is weak. The host seems unprepared. Perhaps they meant ill-prepared. And the content quality isn't there. Far better options out there. Okay, on one hand, I know it's extremely important for me to remember that as an outdoor communicator, it is not my job to defend my message or my work to every single person that hates the show, and I should probably just focus on the positives. And I'll do that. I'd accept critical feedback that was constructive, which I have in the past, and which the show is better for it. But for this week's down, my official response is to PS Hand 13. I hope you like the taste of mesh, because you can eat my gym shorts. In all seriousness, though, thanks for leaving a review. I kind of appreciate it. All right, let's go on to the up. A positive review. So they go out to say, love this podcast. It has been extremely helpful as I learn how to hunt and feel it has grown with me. It started out very elementary. Thank you. And is elevating its content as I go through. And keep it up, please. Hey, DRBOII. That's the name of the person that left this comment. We freaking will. I could get 1,000 critics that don't know the first thing about podcasting or communicating and claim to be amazing hunters, so much better than all the rest of us, or photographers, and tell me how much my podcast sucks. And it'd be worth it to know that I helped one dude or gal out. Listen, it's the strangest thing putting yourself out there into the public realm, and there's plenty of critics out there waiting to hate on you. But for anybody out there listening, if you have a passion for something, just freaking do it, man. Don't worry about the naysayers and the people that'll call you a copycat, leave you a negative review despite having never listened or viewed your content, because they're too loyal to something else. Listen, the world's bigger than that, and we got a lot of work to do, so let's roll our sleeves up, let's get to work, and I'm going to give you the rest of the episode here. All right, so this week at number 8, Mid-Valley Mercenaries, the MVM show. This is a new one for me. I know this guy, though. name's Titus. They run an awesome YouTube, him and his brother, and they're not newbies to waterfowling. And they have a YouTube series called Mid-Valley Mercenaries, and so it was really refreshing to hear some familiar voices out there on the interwebs, and getting to hear more from them than what you get in their YouTube clips is pretty awesome. I've always liked the rich tonal hopping around the California accent, and it's good to know that there's still a couple dudes out there in California, and actually there's a lot of people that listen from California, and yeah. Anyways, this week they sat down and they talked to Ryan Graves, an avid enthusiast of waterfowling memorabilia and passionate self-made historian, talking about the evolution of punt guns and duck call collections, body booting. Now, if that sounds sexy to you, you don't know what it is. And in fact, they've kind of motivated me. I'm lining up a guest to talk all about body booting. So go check them out at MVM Show, and it's a great addition to the podcast lineup. Number 7, we've got the Duck Gun podcast. This week, Elliot and Jordan announced their association with Banded, Avery, and GHG, as well as talking about public land hunting with Phil Conkey, who also had a brief stint as a waterfowl podcaster in the Shooting Time. He's an amazing photographer, and he's now the lead guy over there with branding. Hey, look, I don't know if you all heard that or not, but neighbors still getting after it. Anyways, Phil Conkey, great dude with some pretty slick stories. Definitely a good listen that you need to try to get into your lineup this week. At number 6, we've got Cal's Week in Review from the Meat Eater. This week, he talks about beluga and narwhal hybridization, which is apparently very rare. Very, very rare, and how probably one lone dude back in like the 80s wiped them out of existence. The strange relationship between elephants and frogs is also discussed, along with smuggling, and then some of his own personal updates on what's going on with him. It wasn't very heavy hitting, but heck, it's 15 minutes, so go give it a listen. I'll always recommend Cal's Week in Review, so there's that. All right, number 5, the Big Honker Podcast, episode 179, Charles Steele. Okay, admittedly, there's not a bunch of conservation or hunting-related material in this episode, but there is a nonstop crack of humor set to the Big Honker Lodge and the stories that they've shared with Charles Steele, or Coach, down there, and it's good for some laughs, so if you've ever left your wife holding a ceiling fan for 3 hours while you went and gambled, this one's for you. So, all right, number 4, the Meat Eater podcast, titled "If Cabbages Had Legs, I'd Hunt Them Too." This one is another comedic one, and really, I say that anytime Steve Ranella has his brother Doug on, it tickles me. I always listen to that one. He's so eloquent and, quite frankly, refreshing in his weird, almost apathetic approach towards his brother's cause. And it's funny because he talks a lot like Steve, and but there's a difference there, and it's always kind of interesting to hear that. Anyways, he loves hunting on one hand, but freely admits contradictory terms, and most hunters and conservationists that hold some of those terms true. Anyways, this episode makes you feel like you're in the room with them, and on the inside of the joke, I literally found myself laughing out loud probably like 8 to 10 times. Steven Ranella also makes fun of a friend's serious ailment without realizing it, which was sad and slightly comedic. They also talk about Elliot West, the historian, packing your dead brother out on your back, morel hunting, and then the anti-bias in Looney Tunes and children's books. So definitely probably a must listen to. If you didn't check it out this week, go check out the Meat Eater podcast. All right, at number 3, the Outdoor Cameraman Experience. This one's kind of old, but after talking to Jake Latondras on the Fowl Front this week, he mentioned that he also had a podcast. So I went and checked it out. And checked out episode number 5, where they had the Heartland Bow Hunters on with Sean Lucktel and Mike Hunsucker, and I was absolutely enthralled. there's such a great story of innovation in the outdoor field when it comes to content creation, and hearing what these guys' stories was behind the Heartland is pretty interesting. So there's some production value to be handled, but overall, it's a pretty good little podcast series to add to the mix, and they'll be coming out with some new content pretty shortly, is what Jake told me. All right, number 2, another podcast that I picked up this week is the Burning Creative Podcast by the guys over at Muddy Shutter Productions. This podcast is geared towards media marketers and outdoor producers in the industry, outdoor content producers in the industry. And I picked them up on episode number 8, where they talked to Keith Ailes. I can't remember. The director of video production for Mountain Ops. And they talk about his experiences in the outdoors and being associated with the Mountain Ops and kind of the hunts and stuff that he's gone on with them, and what it's like to be a film maker in the outdoors world, and content creation manager and photo/video expert. So if you're looking for some inspiration in content production, go check out the Burning Creative Podcast with Keith Ailes. Anyways, before I get into my favorite episode of the week, and you can hear the fireworks in the background. I've seen a lot of memes going around, and there's always this thing with duck hunters and the 4th of July and fireworks, and they always go on and talk about like, oh, that's, the meme, the joke is always, oh, your dog is scared of fireworks? That's cute. My dog's running around looking for ducks to retrieve, which is, that's funny and all. And then there's a lot of back and forth to be had, and I know there's been a ton of like, oh, so your dog breaks for fireworks, all this, all that. Now, I want to give you, this is going to sound very, I don't know what you're going to think of this. Anyways, me and my wife, we're both like calling ourselves really old because we're like kind of annoyed by like all the fireworks going off in our house. Literally, all the houses on either side of us are like blowing up fireworks right now, and we kept looking at each other and laughing like, I can't believe we're annoyed at this. Like, we used to be people blowing up fireworks with a new baby, 2 rescue dogs who are both absolutely terrified by fireworks. We're just kind of, I don't know. It's like funny how annoyed we are at the whole thing, and I'm never going to tell you to stop blowing up stuff on the 4th of July. No way, Jose. Go blow up everything you want, but I'm still going to be slightly irritated on the night of the 4th of July because, hey man, I'm sorry. I got a baby who's trying to sleep that keeps waking up. I don't care. Like, I don't care what you think of me telling you that I'm annoyed by you blowing up fireworks next to my house. I get enough blowing up stuff in my regular job, and just waking my kid up, having my 2 rescue dogs, which I love very much. 3rd dog don't care at all. She's laying right next to me. The other 2 dogs are like hiding in a closet somewhere. They've been beaten, tortured, and we saved them, and they're terrified of fireworks. So, you know what? Screw you and your stupid memes. Whatever. Anyways, back up to the positive. My favorite podcast this week was number 1, The Hunting Collective, titled Dick Moves, Redefining the Hunting Narrative, with Modern Huntsman's Tyler Sharp. Now, Modern Huntsman is a magazine. Well, actually, it's much more than a magazine. Go check out, if you haven't heard, if you don't know what I'm talking about right now with Modern Huntsman, go check it out. It is some seriously amazing photography work with some awesome articles. And they kind of talk about some of the issues surrounding how we communicate about hunting. And I think this is a must listen for any outdoorsman or conservationist or hunter out there. You need to go listen to this one because it's going to challenge some of the ways that you communicate about hunting. Talking about grip and grin photos. Heck, I still post photos of tailgate pictures of ducks. and whatnot, and the pile pictures and all that. That's all great to me. But they really do talk about the implications of some of these things. And it's just it's a good little brain teaser. All right. Also want to talk about, I broke in and I listened to Steven Rinella, and I ended up downloading on Vimeo, which is some weird video hosting site. Anyways, go watch Stars in the Sky. Me and my wife watched it together, and she was, my wife knows quite a bit about hunting, but when we watch Stars in the Sky, it's basically, I almost see it as like hey, you don't know what hunting's about? Here's what hunting is about. And they did a really good job of portraying what a responsible, conservation-minded hunter goes throughout the hunt. And they talk to a lot of different people. There's a lot of different interviews. Joe Rogan's on it. Some anti-hunters are on it. His brother's on it. Bunch of people. It's just really interesting. Go check that out. Additionally, kind of give you a little tune in, I got interviewed by the Big Honker podcast this week, and it was kind of fun to be on the other end of being interviewed. So if you're interested in that, go check out the Big Honker podcast. I was on there for like an hour and a half, and it was really fun. Additionally, my own little plug here for the Fowl Front podcast. This week we had Jake Latondras on, and if you haven't listened to that one, well, you need to go listen to that one. It's one of my favorite podcast episodes I've done, and Jake is just a super awesome dude, and it was a great conversation. So go check out the Fowl Front podcast with Jake Latondras on the Glassing Hour. Give you a little preview this week. Actually, tomorrow's Friday. Saturday sometime, myself and Matt Lee from High Prairie Sportsman. And then if you guys remember him from the very first episodes of the Fowl Front, my buddy Austin's back in town, and we're going to be talking about gear. We're going to be giving you the gear guide for 2019. As everybody knows, Wild Fowl's big old gear issue just came out. I think it's only available digitally right now, and they haven't been actually mailed out. But we're going to be running down some of this year's best gear and kind of give you a guide on how you want to go about navigating the gear waters this year. So, look forward to that. That'll be coming out on Monday, and I'm really excited. So, hey, glad that you guys came and listened to this today. And as always, very appreciative. Please go give us I'd hope that you'd give us a 5-star review. But if you don't feel like giving us a 5-star review, at least stick to the 2-star. And let us know what you don't like, or let us know what you like about the podcast. And just really look forward to helping you guys out and entertaining you. And then I hope that we can be a positive, portion of your week. All right. Well, everybody, enjoy your day after the 4th of July, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.